All right, welcome back. The 151st Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, the world's oldest multilateral political body founded in 1889 to foster parliamentary diplomacy, peace and sustainable development across 181 nations, is now underway. BJP MP Aparajita Sarangi delivered a stinging rebuttal to Pakistan's baseless claims on Jammu and Kashmir, slamming their habitual propaganda and terror exports as attempts to politicize forums. J&K is integral to India, she asserted, spotlighting schemes like PM Garib Kalyan Yojana for food security amidst global hunger talks. Let's in fact listen in to what she said.
I exercise my right of reply with regard to the statement made by Mr. Sadiq Sardar Ayaz, Speaker of the National Assembly of Pakistan, in this 151st Assembly of the IPU. We deplore the attempt by Pakistan to politicize this forum and to bring in unwarranted references to issues which do not fall within the purview of this assembly. Quite habitually, Pakistan attempts to indulge in propaganda and makes baseless allegations against India. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has been, is, and shall always remain an integral and inalienable part of India. No amount of rhetoric and propaganda from any country can override the fact that accession of Jammu and Kashmir to India was completely legal and irrevocable. Pakistan has no locus standi to comment on India's internal matters. In fact, it is Pakistan which is an illegal and forcible occupation of India's territories that it should vacate. Peace and development in Jammu and Kashmir is anathema to Pakistan, and it is trying to sabotage this by use of cross-border terrorism to destabilize the region. As regards the Indus Water Treaty of 1960, I am to state that it is an undeniable fact that there have been fundamental changes in the circumstances since the Indus Water Treaty was executed.
All right, my colleague Pia Maan is joining us live from Geneva at this point in time. Pia, good to see you. And of course, let's put Aparajita Sarangi's statement also into focus. She's clarified what India stands for and what India in fact means when it comes to the sovereignty of Jammu and Kashmir, and how Pakistan has always tried to meddle in India's internal affair. And it's the best place to be to let the world know as to what Pakistan is doing and how parliaments need to in fact understand that lawmakers can change all of this. Who better than to say this than Aparajita Sarangi?
Absolutely, Vineet. We've seen a showdown take place over here in Geneva itself. And this is not the first time that our neighboring country has raked up this issue. They've done so at the United Nations as well, whether in New York or Geneva or Vienna as well for that matter. And they've done so once again at the Inter-Parliamentary Union, which did in fact then require a response that was given very aptly by Ms. Sarangi, who is in fact a member of the IPU's executive committee as well. She's pointed out very clearly that J&K is India's internal issue, but at the same time, she's also pointed out that this is not the platform to unnecessarily politicize dialogue when parliamentarians from more than 183 countries and 15 associate member states are now gathering over here to deliberate upon problems that are plaguing people across borders. There was no need to rake this up in the very first place by the Pakistani side, of course. It did require a proper rebuttal, but it also required a reminder, as was given by Ms. Sarangi, that this platform is meant to deliberate upon issues that are plaguing humanity at large, whether it is artificial intelligence or sustainable development as well. And in pointing out the latter, she's also, in fact, touched upon some of the schemes of the Indian government in helping uplift people from poverty, in helping empower farmers as well, such as the Ann Yojana and the Garib Kalyan Yojana as well. So all of this was put into perspective by Ms. Sarangi.
Pia, stay with us. In fact, the Indian delegation also joined workshops on breaking hunger cycles, bolstering India's voice on human rights and development. The Assembly wraps with the resolutions on illegal adoptions and cybercrime as well, plus the 2025 Creamer Phasi Prize for Gender Equality Leadership, a platform for real talk on borders and aid. India's first and firm stance stealing the show. And to top it all, NewsX is bringing you live coverage from Geneva, where the 151st IPU is currently underway. Pia, my colleague, still with us on the broadcast. Pia, let's also apprise our viewers of the larger, the broader nuances and focus and perspectives which are going to be discussed by countries at large at this forum. Of course, some of the vanilla aspects of this get together have already been mentioned by you, but there is AI at the fore, there is migration and immigration challenges at the fore, there is weather anomalies, which India is obviously a victim of, also at the fore. What more is palpable to you while you're on the ground?
Absolutely, as you mentioned it, Vineet, migration is one of the crucial issues that have cropped up. I've in fact been speaking to parliamentarians over here. In fact, some have mentioned that Bhutan has raised the issue of brain drain. This is something that India also suffers from. That's not all. Artificial intelligence has cropped up in discussions as well. We do know that AI is a double-edged sword. It's permeated our lives to a certain extent that, from young children to the elderly, everybody probably uses some or the other AI tool in order to get perhaps the most basic answers or to get a perspective on what exactly is taking place, considering the fact that AI can really seamlessly break down information. But we all know the fact that deep fakes exist. That's a problem. There was a lot of discussion here about nuclear proliferation and the role of artificial intelligence in that as well. Quite a novel topic that we don't really hear people talk about. A lot of the parliamentarians have also pointed out the challenges of legislating a policy regarding artificial intelligence as well. What sort of framework should they bring about? Because this is not something that will really go away. This is here to stay. So putting curbs on it entirely is not the solution as well. You've also, in fact, mentioned humanitarian aid. Now, this is something that India has also very vociferously taken up at the IPU in Geneva. We do know recently, after the earthquake has taken place in Afghanistan, India had lent a helping hand to the people there as well. Earlier in Myanmar too, we'd seen something very, very similar. Thailand as well. Remember what took place in 2023 in Turkey. India had also extended a helping hand to the people over there under Operation Those. So out of all of this, these are some of the crucial themes. Food security is also, in fact, one of the very major themes, because we do know that there are, protectionist stance that some countries are adopting at this point, which has resulted in bottlenecks as well. As you mentioned, climate change is one of the key issues because of the adverse weather factor. Some of the crops have been destroyed as well. Some regions that are drought prone have witnessed flooding all of a sudden. So this has caused major problems to the people, to the farmers, and the global supply chains at large. And we do know that there are over 120 ongoing conflicts. Many people, 310 million out of this particular statistic, many people are suffering from starvation. So in that particular respect, this is what parliamentarians over here are discussing. Adopting best practices from each other is, of course, the key highlight, the key goal at the end.
And Pia, this is strictly about governance. This is strictly a congregation about, parliament virtues, if I can call it that, for the lack of a better word. But, there are a number of European countries who are also very, very authentically involved with the IPU. Europe in itself is going through a massive change. There has been a tilt from, the more liberal left to the conservative right in predominant parts of, European juggernaut countries, including Germany and Poland. Is that something also which is at the fore of this congregation, because it does signify a major change when it comes to treatment of immigrants and human rights as well?
Absolutely, Vineet. So what's interesting is that I've seen legislators from across party lines in different countries. There are members of parliament from the ruling factions and from the oppositions, perhaps from a third party or a third faction as well. So at large, the larger issue that they are that these parliamentarians are deliberating are mostly global issues, issues that transcend borders. But what you've pointed out is quite a fact as well, because the internal dynamics impact the foreign policy of a country. For example, a migration policy, for instance, what you're seeing in Europe with a tilt to the right as well in a couple of countries. You've mentioned Germany, we do know Italy as well. So in that sense, I've not really seen it crop up as a conversation point. That sort of tacit understanding is there between parliamentarians. It's not really an open point of discussion, but that understanding is there. Largely, the parliamentarians are focusing on common problems, common solutions, and a larger vision than just a myopic lens of one particular country or one particular problem.
Pia, thank you for joining us, and don't forget to see the sites in Switzerland. Thank you so much.